Glory is God's unique expression in you, through you. So we talk about being an image bearer. And yeah, so now I'm on the brainwave of my kids. And so as they are emerging, there are fundamental things. There are principles and values and morals, of course, we want to instill in them and see them exemplify in their life. But seriously, my favorite part of being a dad is watching them grow into them, watching them emerge, right? And seeing that progression, how we speak with them, walk with them, live life with them is different than even in their elementary school age, which was different than their toddler phase.
Oh, yeah, wait till they're 30,
yes.
right? And like mine, and 27, and you're seeing it in another stage and phase of their lives, and they're trying to sort it out, figure it out,
right?
And your opportunity, even as their adult children, that's it. What is their glory? Do you know it as a parent?
Yeah.
And can you help them not only discover it, but offer it?
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoe's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful inns for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Hey, SJ Jennings here with my friends Michael Thompson and Josh Overton, and we just wrapped filming on the Good Man series, a series that's created to take you on a journey of discovery, of exploration, and ultimately, hopefully, of freedom. Because if we have more men who are walking around free the way Jesus promised in Galatians 5:1, it's for freedom that Christ set us free, Paul writes. And so why aren't men more free? And I don't know about you guys, but I want to be more free of the stuff that keeps me from operating as a man with nothing to hide, nothing to prove, and nothing to fear. And so when I think about the Good Man series and what we've just created, I think about you. I think about you guys that are watching. I think about you guys that are maybe hungry and thirsty for more. And I hope you'll join us on the journey.
Welcome back to the Exploring More podcast. Let's just keep going, Josh, in this thing about glory. So, and we'll get into the biblical realities of this, but philosophically, right? If the glory of your life is maybe described as your effect, the weightiness of you, right? Again, before the break, we said it. It's why it's so important to get the false self and the wounding
out of the way,
taken care of,
so
that it's not motivated by self reasons. But when you think about defining it, I said the effect of you, the weightiness of you. The good that you bring. What else would be?
Sure. I mean, my mind goes a few different places, but I think of cause and effect. And so I think a telltale sign for me has been when I am affected by what's going on around me versus bringing the effect.
Wow, yeah.
Right? And so that really helps me distinguish between which self is in the driver's seat here, right? The false self, true self.
Yeah.
And so back to my attachment to ministry and calling, out of a good place of wanting to help people and lead people to Jesus and build the kingdom. Yeah, man, in there, subtlety, I would say it started off very subtle, and then it probably grew was a desire for you to like me.
Yeah.
And a desire for you, I want to make sure I did a good job.
Yeah,
And
I get it.
from the Sunday applause to the one-on-ones, like, and what I'm doing and bringing to you helpful? I needed to know that.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough just to see the effect.
Yeah.
I was affected by the validation or not getting
Or
the
not getting
validation,
it. Yeah.
the rejection of it
Yeah.
even. So, yeah, it's very tangly in all of that,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it is for me too.
Yeah.
But I know on my best days, it is an offering because I can.
Yeah.
And
There's a difference, right, of you get to versus you have to.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we all have, we all on our journey as we bring some clarity, some definition, some description to this. Yeah, we all become proficient at different things.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily your glory, necessarily.
Sure.
Might be.
Sure.
But we all find things that we're good at. We all find things that we can do to contribute. And again, it's not just those things, it's how you do them. You recently, I was reminded, because of a project that you took on in-house with Zoe, how creative you are. That's glory.
Sure.
Part of Josh's glory is his ability to create and be creative. Well, I might have a similar part of my glory, but it may be in writing, in writing the books. It may be in maybe a creative way to put a talk together. I'm particularly talking about just the newsletter that you kind of. It wasn't even going to be a newsletter. It was going to be used for one thing.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Let's share this with partners and people in our world to inform them that this is kind of what's going on, so.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. It means a lot. And it just landed on me as you're saying it, seriously, as you're talking right now. What is the number one thing that the enemy's been doing since he left heaven? And that is trying to corrupt and manipulate creation from the ultimate creator.
Yeah.
So as you're talking about creativity, whether it's a newsletter or if it's writing, or you can be creative in a lot of ways.
Food, cooking.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, there's so
just
many
how,
creative ways.
When I think about this subject of glory, true self, false self, man, it's so easy for the thing that you create to become your engine for getting and receiving. Worth.
Significance, approval,
so
100%.
It's just...
And those are... And I'm not going to shut that off, because I do long for those things.
Sure.
I'm made for those things.
Yeah. Right.
But when your glory becomes something you use to get it, you're in another category, right?
Yeah.
Your gifts, your talents, your abilities, those are good things. But now we're talking about how you do them. I mean, they're kind of adulterated. They're a little bit marred. They're stained in a way that I don't know how else to describe it other than there's strings attached. And if you don't recognize me for my contribution, it is either something I'm going to demand, or I'm gonna withdraw and never do it again.
Right.
And now, because my glory was in some ways compromised by my own false self and some of the story, now the world doesn't get it at all.
Yeah.
So that's how...
Now the enemy wins.
The enemy wins. That's how important I think this conversation and discussion is. And, we get this from a basis of... It's in a lot of places in Scripture. But the one thing that it probably foundationally is in creation, in our creation. Right? Genesis 3, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. The Message version says God-like, small g.
Yeah.
And so, where we jump to Galatians 5 and the fruit of the Spirit, well, that's a statement, that's a passage about this is what the Spirit's like. Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, and faithfulness. This is the Spirit. Yeah. So this is our small s, Spirit. This is what is intended for us to operate. So back to Genesis 3, Yeah, if there's a glory to God and there's Trinity DNA in us, then there's a glory to us. You and Brooke have 3 kids, right? Would you say that each of them have a little bit of you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at them.
Yeah.
First and foremost, right?
Yeah,
they all have the big brown eyes for me, right? Yeah. But what's been great is as they've all gotten older, in middle school, daughter's going into high school, is as their personalities emerge, you still see the trickle of, man, I tell Brooke all the time, I was like, what's it like having a mini you? Because as Lainey has stepped into relationships and conflicts and all the things that come with growing up, there's a lot of things that she does in that conflict that I've seen Brooke do over the last 16 years. And it's funny to say that until Brooke says, well, Judah, what about Judah? He's a lot like you. And I was like, okay, all right. But yeah, man, so it's reflected not just in the outer appearance, but personalities, how they respond to different things. Yeah, man, it's... You can see it.
You're using some really important words, and I'm going to bring them up in the scriptures now. I love that you say reflected.
Yeah.
We're going to go to that in a minute. And I also love that you said emerge.
Yeah.
So the glory, if we understand it, the glory's been in you. It came with you.
Yeah.
In when you arrived, and now it's emerging.
Yeah.
Right. It's emerging. This passage that is really kind of a hallmark for us. 2 Corinthians 3. You got it?
Yeah.
I don't have my goggles on, so...
Got the Bible too, but we printed it here.
But we printed it out
from
here.
the Bible.
And this is in the Amplified, but this is 5 or 6 verses, and you could jump to 15, but...
Sure.
But verse 12...
Can we read it?
Yeah. Hit it, man.
Since we have a glorious hope and confident expectation, we speak with great courage. Keep going?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And we are not like Moses, who used to put a veil over his face so that the Israelites would not gaze at the end of the glory, which was fading away. But in fact, their minds were hardened, for they had lost the ability to understand. Sheesh. For until this very day, at the reading of the Old Covenant, the same veil remains unlifted because it is removed only in Christ. Verse 15, but to this day, whenever Moses is read, a veil of blindness lies over their heart. But whenever a person turns in repentance and faith to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, emancipation from bondage, true freedom. And we all, with unveiled face, continually seeing as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are progressively being transformed into His image, one degree of glory to even more glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit.
Yeah, that's 2 Corinthians 3, 12 through 18. There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
And it really is a passage that, transitions from an old covenant to a new.
Yeah.
That's what is, and the letters, the epistles, predominantly are being written to non-Jewish folk.
Sure.
To people who, by being in communities in various ways with Jewish people, and yet we're not allowed and invited to be a part of.
Yeah, grafted is a word that comes into mind.
Jewish
They're being
communities.
grafted into.
We're talking about first century Jewish communities. So when you look at the letters that are being written to the first century church by the apostles and those who helped start these churches, and Paul being absolutely one of them, he is, this biblical degreed Pharisee scholar. And so to even bring up Moses to the folks of Corinth and help them, they knew they heard and knew likely who Moses was. They just didn't know how it all worked.
Right.
And so here he brings in let me tell you how this works. You know, there's you use the word emerging. There's a progression. You know, as your sons and your daughter progress, they're becoming more of something.
Oh yeah.
Is it more like who they have it in them to be? Yeah, that's kind of how we're approaching this. That there's a glory to your life, there's a glory to Landon's life, there's a glory to our lives. And kind of like Joseph in the coat of many colors, you know, we get it early. We just don't know quite how to wear it right. And it goes through quite an ordeal.
Yeah.
Because many of us have been hurt and wounded attempting, you know, attempting to be funny or attempting to be heard or attempting to share. I mean, there's a lot of shots that get taken at us over time, especially in formative years. And so to raise resilient sons and daughters who...
That's a great word.
Who can hear the voice of their father and mother and even the actions and the behaviors and that somehow affect them in their progression. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reflection is there.
Right. Right.
In a very unique and significant way. So what do you, as you look at that passage?
Well, you just said the word, but I wrote down next to this passage, glory is God's unique expression in you, through you. So we talk about being an image bearer. And yeah, so now I'm on the brainwave of my kids. And so as they are emerging, there are fundamental things. There are principles and values and morals, of course, we want to instill in them and see them exemplify in their life. But seriously, my favorite part of being a dad is watching them grow into them, watching them emerge, right? And seeing that progression, how we speak with them, walk with them, live life with them is different than even in their elementary school age, which was different than their toddler phase.
Oh, yeah, wait till they're 30.
Yes.
Right? And like mine and 27. And you're seeing it in another stage and phase of their lives. And they're trying to sort it out, figure it out.
Right.
And your opportunity, even as their adult children, that's it. What is their glory? Do you know it as a parent?
Yeah.
And can you help them not only discover it, but offer it?
Yeah, right.
And if that's what we're doing as parents, that's what our Father's doing.
100%. That's how I was going to finish that thought. Is the biggest help in that walk with them, or walking with other men, walking with other people, is recognizing and seeing it in my own life, and how God has fathered me in combating this whole wrestling with the false self and true self.
Yeah.
The invitations, the subtleties, the ways the enemy whispers. So the more that I've become attuned to your point, not just seeing it, but knowing what to do, it definitely has educated and helped me do that with my own kids, or do that with other people that I'm walking with.
Yeah.
To simplify it, we say it all the time, the best thing you could do for anyone else is get your own heart back.
Freedom. Yeah.
Freedom.
Yeah. And that with liberty. What was that? Was that in the Amplified?
Verse 17, now the Lord is a spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty.
There's freedom.
Emancipation from bondage. Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And now we're unveiled in the new covenant with unveiled faces. We're continually seeing as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, and we're progressively being transformed into His image from one degree of glory to more. It just makes sense.
And implies a process.
Sanctification.
Right.
Sanctification.
Right.
What does that word mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, we just defined it right there. I am in a process of being shaped, formed, set free, released from, so I can be.
Yeah.
I mean, we said it earlier. Some of it is you got to get some stuff out of the way. Some of it is I'm recovering what was lost or taken. Yeah. So that it is a progressive. Growing into Joseph's his coat. You grow into it.
Yeah, man. So much in this and the passages that need to be explored, and I think the philosophy still for a few more minutes.
Yep.
You know, we were talking about some youngers. We're going to talk a little bit more about us, but I also see this with the older the older believers,
Yeah.
In our elder sage community, that your glory can be on display in a role that you play, in a job that you have. But when you take the role away or you take the job away, is that person lost? Is the glory still in them? Right? That's the question. So I see this with older men and women that no, the business card and the title on the door, the role and the assignment that you're in. And I say role like we're husbands. Your assignment is Brooke. My assignment's Robin. Right? You have a role as a father. I have a role as a father. You have your 3. I have my 3. That's my assignment.
Sure.
So there's a difference between roles and assignments, and yet your glory is what you bring to those things. Yeah. So when those things somehow get, and obviously as a husband and a father, we're not wanting those to be taken away, but if we're a vice president, or if we're a president, or if we're an employee somewhere, and somebody takes that job away from you, the good news is they can't take your glory. They can take your position, the assignment or the role, but not your glory. It goes with you into the next job.
That's right. Yeah.
And into the next place.
Yeah.
And so even if you are retiring, right, it ought to be a time where hopefully you've learned by walking with God and others, oriented men and women, that this is not just what I'm good at. This is how I'm built. And I bring that to wherever I go.
Sure.
And I feel like that is freeing in of itself.
Yeah.
There's a liberty to that. And sometimes you have to find another assignment where you're deployed into and you bring your goodness there. And so I think it's a very, very powerful idea. And one, here's what I wanted to ask you, not in our notes. So here comes one that just came back up. If this is the goodness you bring, that God's entrusted to you to bring, does it make sense that the kingdom of darkness would want to do everything it can to thwart that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How has that felt for you? I'm going to take a swing at this too, but how has your glory been obstructed, assaulted, thwarted in ways? And we've got lots of podcasts on this in different ways, but I'm not sure we've ever talked about it like this.
Sure.
So when you think about your goodness and glory, what's come against that, and how?
Yeah. So I'll give you a quote and then share a story. We are rewatching some of the Marvel movies as a family in preparation for the new one coming out later this year. And there's a great quote from the first Spider-Man movie where Peter just gets the updated suit from Tony Stark, and it's got all the bells and whistles and way more than he's not trained. He doesn't know what to do. He's still trying to figure out
how it all works.
And then he gets a suit that can do above and beyond. I mean, it's crazy. Well, he gets in front of his skis throughout the movie quite a bit. So Tony,
as a young guy was right.
Tony, so
Joseph
Tony
in the coat.
That's right, 100% parallel. So Tony takes the suit back, and Peter's reaction is, "I'm nothing without the suit. Like, I need the suit." And Tony says, "If you are nothing without the suit, you don't deserve the suit." And he sends Peter back into the training circle. It's just a great movie of that arc and what Peter goes to discover about himself. The suit doesn't make Spider-Man. Peter makes Spider-Man. And he earns the suit back at the end of the movie. But, man, I mean, that is a parallel to Joseph, a parallel to my life. So as I mentioned, a life and career of church and ministry. You guys probably know this by now, but we planted a church. So when you talk about roles and assignments, I mean, I had a platform, I had people, and that was what my glory was attached to, was more so the role and the assignment of it. So when the church went away,
you're a little lost.
I mean, you know,
a lot lost.
I was a lot lost of just So whether it was a conscious decision, and there was probably some training in there that, man, I thought this was how I expressed my glory, was through preaching, through platforms, through all these things that now I no longer had. So who is Josh? Please, Mr. Stark, I need the suit.
Yeah.
You know, and in a little bit maybe a kinder way, but got that message of, man, if you need the church to be who I created you to be, I think you got it backwards.
Right.
And this journey of, honestly, man, belief, of just believing it to be true, that I am who God said I am, and I am called, and I have what it takes. I have a voice. Yeah. And just because I don't have a platform and I don't hold a microphone every single Sunday, the enemy wants me to silence that. It wants me to stop. Mm-hmm. I'm not delivering sermons the way I was. So all of that, man, you mentioned those things being stripped away. So whether it's retirement at the end of a career or a detour that you didn't have planned.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
We talk about athletes who get injured and it's over.
Yeah, right.
Or they get to play to the end of and they don't come back after that. But they come back, they play some more, they get injured again.
Not quite the same.
That cycle.
Yeah, right.
Or just retiring, you know, in their 30s, something they've been doing since they were a boy.
Yeah.
Right. This is what people who got their identity and their worth and their value from their spouse. Sure. And their spouse leaves them. Yeah. I mean, that's a horrible thing to have to go through, period. Yeah. But, because in that case, a part of you in the marital situation has left you. Yeah. Torn. And to find out, who you are and now. Right. And what are you about and what do you have within you? Yeah. You often can't find those things without, like James 1 talks about, the trials. Yeah. The trials and some of these we're talking about hard, big issues where a piece of you, a part of what you've invested in and enjoyed even, is now taken away or is moved away or in some ways even rejects you. I mean, there's, back to the athletes, there's you read about it all the time, in the trade market and who wants them and what are they worth and then there's one day their value is moving in the other direction. Yeah. And can you have worth beyond, that as a particular relationship with anything?
Yeah. Well, I think what was revealing to me was through all of that, the last several years, it showed me, I think, again, man, a lot of it even on autopilot, of just how often I was taking my self-worth to different people in different places without even really realizing I was doing it. So that's how it's looked, and some of the unravelings looked for me. I know you wanted to share too, but that was a huge clue for me. Yeah, honestly, my entanglement. I brought up sports because it's very much a part of my story from 8, 9, 10 till even playing professionally, and it. There's a performance type theology, talking about an old covenant, new covenant. There was a theology that was so thick that you're as good as your performance, you're as good as your contribution, and so it really gets in the way of this conversation, because if I can't contribute, if I can't make something happen statistically on my line, that's me, that's my line, that's my number. What happened, and is it good enough? And short of perfection, right? An 8-for-8 game, or no turnovers. Yeah, right. I mean, obviously there's the bar, but when you compare yourself to the bar, you're going to feel a certain thing, and then when you start to compare yourself to the other lines, even on your own team, which ironically you're competing against. Sure. So all of that, contributed, I think, to some corruption of my glory, my goodness,
very, very competitive, and yet these lines we're talking about. But then I'm across the line with my competitiveness turning into rather a noble characteristic,
Right.
turns into a life and death,
Yeah.
and what I need to do to promote me and demote you, whether we're on the same team,
Yeah.
or even in competition. You're wearing the other uniform, so yeah. Very, very, very. And I played on teams, Josh, where coaches, I was their guy, and a year later I'm on another team and I'm not that guy's guy,
Yeah.
and it's maddening.
Sure. Yeah.
Even exaggerated in some degrees in that particular example of sports and athletics. But it's not different than church and pastoring and any other job.
Marketplace.
Somebody thinks you're great, and somebody else does not want you in their office anymore.
Right. Right.
And you're carrying your box out the door.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I feel like these are large pieces to explore. And we talked about SJ and I a few weeks ago about why Jesus came, and we hit the Isaiah 61 passage.
Yeah.
Which, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. The good news to the captives, heal the brokenhearted, sight for the blind. And then it goes on and talks about this oaks of righteousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to pick it up there from Isaiah 61?
Yes. If I have it, let me make sure I got it, brother. Oh, here we go. I got it. All right. So, yeah. So, again, this is just, you're highlighting why Jesus came, right? To proclaim the favorable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance and retribution of our God, to comfort all who mourn. Verse 3. To
now
grant
the glory. Here comes the transition from sight for the blind, healing the brokenhearted, setting captives free, so they can become.
That's right. To grant those who mourn in Zion the following: to give them a turban instead of dust on their heads, which is a sign of mourning, the oil of joy instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of a disheartened spirit, so that they will be called the trees, oaks of righteousness, strong and magnificent, distinguished for integrity, justice, and right standing with God, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified.
Yeah,
then,
man.
let me just hit verse 4 too, man. Because as that happens, as you believe it, as you become it, so that they will rebuild the ancient ruins. They will raise up and restore the former desolations, and they will renew the ruined cities for many generations.
Yeah.
Man.
There's a progression there of the hurting, the wounded, the taken out, right?
Yep.
To the re-equipping, right? To the redeeming. I've come for these.
Yeah.
And now they're not that anymore. I'm going to give them garments. I'm going to give them a new song. I'm going to bring them up, raise them up, and then I'm going to turn them loose to be a part of the redemptive work. That's what Isaiah 61 is rolling through.
Yes.
In those first passages, so that they may be called the trees, the oaks of righteousness, strong and magnificent. It is so interesting, Josh, when I just hear those couple lines. It's interesting to me in the believing community how we kind of cower from such praise, from such recognition, from such declaration, when all the while, deep in our hearts and souls, we want to be seen and recognized and validated.
Yeah.
And so in here, I feel like there's like if I were to say to you, bro, you're an oak of righteousness. You're magnificent. Mm-hmm. There's this part of Christianity. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And if you won't receive, I believe this. If you're not able to receive a compliment from somebody who's recognizing your contribution, it's going to be really hard to step into these shoes of glory and wear them. Mm-hmm. Because God wants to equip you to be part of the redemptive team, and there needs to be some redemption that takes place, but you're now equipped as an oak of righteousness to be a part of a campaign, a movement of goodness.
Yeah.
And when somebody recognizes it, of course, they felt the weightiness of your contribution, and it's made some difference in their life because you're bringing the kind of encouragement that bears good fruit. So, what I want to ask you, how do we overcome that? How do we see?
Yeah. That's funny. I was going to ask you that because, to be funny, but also, right? We spent the first half of this podcast talking about the trap of bringing your glory into spaces and relationships and people, situations, needing it.
Yeah.
Versus because you can, right? And so to simplify it, maybe for me at least, I think of a moment that I just had with one of my kids who plays baseball. He was having a really rough go in the cages. It just wasn't going well. His internal became external, and what I heard him say, even from behind the L screen throwing BP, was, "I suck." Like, frick. He just kept, I could hear him, like, "Man, frick, I suck." To the point where he walked off, threw his bat down, took his gloves off, and just, sat down. And so I walked over to him, and I said, "Hey, man," I said, "what's up?" And he wouldn't say anything. And I was like, I got down on his level, and I said, "Let me just ask you a question." I was like, Are you a good baseball player? He goes, "I guess, bro." And I said, "No, for real." I said, "Are you a good baseball player?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." I was like, we do BP 3 or 4 times a week. You've played in tournaments, games. Man, look at the team you're on. Look at the opportunities you have, blah, 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 the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's okay. Are you good? He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Can you do this?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, well, if something's not going right, then you know enough about the game now that there's maybe something with your mechanic is off. What do you think you can do better?" Long story short, we identified a few things. I was like, "Let me throw you 15 more. 15. Give me 15. And let's just see how it goes. And just try to apply what you just said." He goes, "All right, cool." Came back, line drive. I mean, he was swinging the crap out of the bat, man, just looking great.
Isn't that interesting? So what a contrast.
So then we stepped out of the cage, and I asked him, I was like, "What's different?" He goes, "Well, when we came into the cage, I felt like I had to do good. Like if every swing," I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but if every swing wasn't perfect, if every swing didn't produce the hit, there's something wrong with me." And I said, okay. So what flipped the switch for you? He goes, "Well, I know I can do this, and I want to. That was his words. "I want to do this."
Right.
So I helped him in that moment, try to articulate, man, even back to the Spider-Man quote, right? Like, you don't need to do any of this for me.
Yeah. You
don't need to do this for rankings, accolades. If you love to play, then play. And that's the thing that I've really tried to, just drill into him, because you mentioned athletes. It's such a tension of trying to perform versus just enjoying and being.
Yeah.
And
I think it makes me think about what we do now. We both communicate, we both guide, we both encourage. We do it similarly in a lot of ways, but then there's some real differences as well. And I think about and we've worked at this. So there's some gifting, right? And there's some desire. right? I'm gonna read Philippians in a minute. This is setting up Philippians too.
Yep.
But there's some gifting, there's some desire, and then there's been a lot of training, a lot of practice, like back in the cave. I mean, and been able to share and offer and see God move, as God moved in the preparation of the talk or the writing or whatever it was. Then there's the impact of that, and then there is the feedback.
Yeah.
Right. And I just remember some years ago hearing from an older man, "Hey, don't believe all the press.
Yeah.
Don't believe all the accolades, and don't believe all the criticisms."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how. And so, when we do impact sheets, I tend to kind of stay away from them because it's really sorry anybody if that disappoints them, but it's really about the subjective experience that they're having with God that we got to be a part of. But we don't do speaker evaluations. We don't do heavy.
You feel like you're getting graded again
film,
in some
right?
way. Yeah, right.
And so even to look, to not look on Amazon at 4.5 stars, 4.8 stars. Well, who are the ones?
Yeah.
Who are the ones and twos? Don't, not that I don't have thick enough skin or that I care. I do care. I want it to be good.
Sure, right.
But it's so interesting when you subject yourself to the opinions of others rather to the most important opinion of all that's already been declared, already been communicated, what you're worth to God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So I think that it's always a fine line. There's always a subjectivity, comparisons. Very, 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 very difficult to not only discover your glory, but to walk in it if you're going to compare it to somebody else's. It'll almost kill it.
Yeah.
Because either you're going to be, as SJ has said for years, either superior or inferior.
Yeah.
You're going to be on one side of the line.
Yeah.
And so somebody else's glory ought not mute yours and ought not, raise the RPMs on yours to try and outdo or outgo, somebody else in some of theirs. But to have the kind of impact and to partner with God in that is what Philippians 2:13. You want to read that real quick?
For it is God who is working in you and enabling you both to desire and to work out his good purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we were wrapping up, since we are wrapping up, I think that's a really interesting place to start. What is it that you love? What would you love to do and get paid to do it? What would you love to, what do you do that you love and enjoy even when you don't get paid for it? I mean, that's what we're talking about with desire.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just think that plays into so much of what our team does day to day. Not that we don't love spreadsheets and newsletters and creating the resources we get to create. All of that is, in my mind, at least for me, is so that we can be with friends,
connect,
right.
Yeah,
have the opportunity to sit with people around the fire, to be at encounters. Like, all of that helps facilitate those moments.
Yeah.
And man, at the end of the day, for me, the answer to that question is whatever I can do to have that.
Yeah.
Church was always a means to an end for that, for me. What we do here, so much, whether I want to do it or not, and most days I do, but when we all have our moments, I know it recenters me, and this is so that we can have some of those moments.
Do you remember your passion verbs offhand?
Yeah, the last time I did them, build, compose, lead, gather, and there was one more. Coach, might have been coach.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. I was wondering. It just came to me as we were talking, spirit-led probably.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a way you roll in coaching. There's a lot of different coaches. They have a lot of different styles.
Yeah.
Watching you coach your boys when they were younger,
Yeah.
right? It's a different. It's almost fatherhood. I want to father them in this space, and I'll coach to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you get replaced with other coaches as they get older, right? You don't have to not be a coach anymore. You're still the father, but you're the one giving me extra pitches, and coaching them not only in how to hit, but setting with them on the grass about, all right, what's going on?
Sure, man. And that was attached to the question of what do you do? How do you move past bringing it for validation and living from validation? And for him, it's baseball right now, but it's going to be other things as he grows up.
And you know that.
Right.
He doesn't have to.
Right.
But
right.
what an incredible role, right, and assignment with him to coach him in the ways of the kingdom through baseball.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's what the glory piece is mostly about, is in the ways of the kingdom through whatever. And so build, compose,
lead, gather, and
coach. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are great words that just start to touch, I think, the glory of you and what you bring to the world. And if these are parts of that, then these are the things that have been opposed.
Yeah.
These are the things that can be subject to criticism. Because, man, it only takes one guy to not like what you do and how you do it, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But and we're in a bad, we can be in a bad spot.
Sure.
In that, what do I need to do to win his vote? Or screw him. Either one of those options not really good.
Right.
And yet if we know that, we are evolving, emerging, progressing, and learning how to what our glory is and how to bring it in the midst of roles and assignments that are changing.
That's right.
Right. It's I think this whole exploration is to me it's one of the most beautiful and wildest things to talk about on the other side of false self.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, to leave you with, I think maybe the best, not the best, but a great way, I'll say it that way, a great way to lean into this is taking note, paying attention to what's emerging. Mm-hmm. We've talked a lot about the goodness that emerges, but when those things, when the role and assignment changes, when the validation doesn't come, when you're not noticed, what emerges in that? Yeah. As we're talking about false self, true self, man, it's just
desires is another great place to explore the, if you want the passion verb exercise, I'll sneak this in here, Landon. If you want the passion verb exercise, then email me, michael@zoe.org. I'll send it to you. We use it in our advance conferences and retreats, because this is a place that we spend 4 or 5 talks, after the some of the 101 stuff, mentioning glory. This is where we help men in the retreat, and we have another one coming up in October. Go to zoe.org /events, and you'll see the October
King Me
Advance. Yep. And this is what we're helping guys after they get that foundation. What does it look like to overcome and become who you are in the kingdom and what you have to offer the world that desperately needs the goodness of men to offer. It was the Howard Thurman quote that we found years ago. Yep. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do that. Because that's what the world needs, is more men and women who are alive. And then St. Irenaeus, it's the glory of God.
A man that's fully alive.
A man that's fully alive.
Yeah.
So, man. let's just do 4 or 5 more episodes on glory.
You could for sure,
and keep going because it's.
And we don't talk about it enough.
Enough.
Even with that, we just. Yeah.
What's the point?
So much more.
What's the point of getting healing in Isaiah 61? What's the point of redemption and restoration?
Yeah.
Oaks of righteousness, magnificent.
Yes.
Who you are and what you bring to the world. So.
Yep.
Thank you for being with us on the Exploring More podcast. We got one more episode that we're going to do that I think is going to be really a good one to kind of round it out. And it's kind of connected to your glory, but your identity. Mm-hmm. So we're going to explore identity in the next episode. But until then, hey, if you want to contribute to the Exploring More podcast, we welcome that. Mm-hmm. Love sponsors, love partners and donors. You can go to zoe.org/give and become part of our 1010 group. That was one of your glorious inventions.
Yeah.
Bringing together a 1010 group from John 10:10.
Monthly supporters.
Monthly supporters. Yeah. We need that. And don't forget the passion verb exercise, Michael at zoe.org. And we'll hook you up. So, hey, thanks for being with us on the biblical realities of a Zoe life, particularly glory. And we'll see you next time on the Exploring More podcast.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoe.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoe on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoe on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.